There is a new analysis from cultural critic Chuck Klosterman this week in his forthcoming book, suggesting that good old American mom and apple pie football is in a long-term death spiral. Klosterman argues that advertising economics could collapse the business model in the years ahead. And also, football is going to lose its organic connection to the American people as more and more parents say, no, I don't want my kids getting involved in youth football. I don't want them to have the head injuries. Matt, is football actually in a death spiral?
I kind of think it is. Look, football has struggled with everything from kneeling during the national anthem to problems with halftime performers. It's starting to feel like there are more problems off the field than on the field. And then you couple that with what you just said is as parents start to move away from the sport, as it becomes much more of just a made for TV activity. Quite frankly, fans become more and more disconnected. Now, look, there are going to be places that is never going to be true. Philly, for example, I'm an Eagles season ticket holder. Like, you're never going to lose that fan base. And you're never going to lose it in New York. You're never going to
But you're
lose
not
it.
going to live forever.
That is probably.
I think the question is, once we're gone, what about the next generation?
First of all, I think I probably am going to live forever. But once we get past that, then next generation probably does struggle. But it does. I think football has a real institutional problem that it hasn't figured out how to address. And they've tried to pare it down with some of the new rules, how not to hits on the quarterback. But if you're an old school fan, some of what you see as you lose that violence, the same thing that is having parents not wanting their kids be involved, make it less entertaining. And so I do think football has a problem. And I do think there are other sports that are going to continue to take that void. I do think we're going to see a bigger emergence of soccer coming through. And I'm still pushing for more and more golf.
Look, personally, I have moved from NFL viewership to soccer viewership because I find the sport more compelling. Look, the numbers do say that there is a problem. Youth participation went from 3.26 million in 2010 to 2.25 million by 2022. But I think the unknown here is, what is the revenue model? What is the advertising model? What drives the economics of ad revenue? And we've seen that shift. And live sports in the NFL continues to be the most valuable property for advertisers. Whether that will continue into the future, who really knows?